Folks, in this video, you're not only going to learn a fully mechanical ICT-based strategy that helped one trader get over 600K in prop firm funding, you're also going to take the whole strategy away, fully automated, all done for you right here on Trading Nut. Right, to get started, let's talk about this ICT strategy. So basically, it was on the channel a while ago. It was featured by a trader called Ethan Garland. It was very mechanical, and it did help him get to 600K in prop firm funding. So what we're going to do is dive into that video. It's had 66,000 views so far, so it's kind of popular. It took me about 6 hours to build it. So what we're going to do is jump into what my robot does and how it matches up with Ethan's strategy. We're going to go through the rules. You're going to see how the robot matches the trades. That's coming up in a second. Then we're going to dive in and look at how I built the robot, why it took me 6 hours, or why it was so quick to build, and why I was able to match every single rule that he had. And then to wrap things up, I'm going to explain how you control the robot and then how you can get your hands on it. So folks, stay tuned. It's all coming up in this video. Our sponsor, Blue Guardian's the only prop firm that gives their traders a tool to protect them from hitting their max daily loss and over trading. It's super simple to use. Just set the Guardian Protector each day from your dashboard. Did you also know that they've just released an unlimited time evaluation with a 0 trading days requirement, giving you plenty of time to hit their low 8 and 4% targets, making it super fast to get funded. Plus, it's cheaper than the 40-day time limit evaluation. Check out the link and coupon in the description to get 10% off your next Blue Guardian evaluation. Right, folks, what we're going to do is dive into Ethan's strategy, and he's going to break it down for us. We're then going to dive back into the robot. It's running a back test at the moment. You're going to see how it's trying to match up, or is matching up, the rules of this strategy. So let's chop and change between the two. So I'm going to play on this, and you're going to hear Ethan describe the strategy.
But basically, the rules are easy. It's 5 rules, and you literally follow these rules and just be disciplined about it, and you will be profitable. So basically, we trade between 8:30 and 11 a.m. That's UTC -4, so New York time. So you change your time zone to New York time. Pretty important. I've also got this indicator which shows this blue area. That is my trade time. This before that is the second rule. This gray part is the Asian time, which is between midnight and 8:30 a.m. So we've got this area here. So the lowest point in this example would be right here in this gray zone. So that is your lowest point. And then the highest point would be right here. And so
okay, what we're going to do is dive into this back test I'm running just to have a look at that. So this is, he's on the 5-minute chart, but this is the 1-minute chart, same period of time, same date. You can see here we've drawn a line, or the bot has drawn a line to signify the high and the low, which matches up with the high and the low that he's drawn here. Kind of hard to sort of see how it correlates, but it definitely is the matchup. Right, let's dive back in and see what else he's got to say.
Then we wait for the sweep of one of those points. We can see here that price swept and reacted.
Okay, so the sweep, what happens with the bot is when we sweep the low here, so that's the low there, or same thing happens with the high, is we start actually looking for these breaks of structure. And so you can see here we've got these yellow dots, which are just the structures, and then we've got the blue dots that start happening after we break the low here. So it breaks the low, finds that blue dot, and the blue dot is actually telling us when a new low has been broken. So this yellow dot here, or this yellow dot here has been broken, then we will put another blue dot in. So we're looking for that break up above the structure point there. So it might help if I zoom in a bit and draw on the screen. So we've got this, we would choose a different color. So we found this yellow point here, for example. It goes up. So that's our yellow point there. Once we get a close below this, or it breaks below, then we can start looking for a break above, which is actually, I think at this point here, it just signifies we had a break below. So it'll be the next structure point for the break above, which is like one of these things. This is probably a clearer example here. So you've got that point there. We're looking for the break above that. As soon as it breaks below this. Okay, so that's the theory behind it. Let's dive back into the video and hear Ethan explain it.
Okay, and then we would be looking to enter on the fair value gap once price has shifted structure. which is rule number 4.
That's what he's talking about.
And then we target 1 to 2 risk-reward ratio. So
okay, so let's have a look at, well, actually, let's play a bit more of the video, and then we'll try and match up some of these trades. So
I'm going to go over a few examples. These examples are all in succession. So this is basically the last 3 or 4 days of data.
So this is the next day. So the first day there was actually no trade. So what I'm going to do is play this day out, and you can see that the bot actually doesn't take a trade. Now you can see here we've also got these yellow and aqua lines, which are signifying the breaks we need as well. So we want to see the break at that structured point there to get in. So if we get to the next day, we can have a look.
So basically we're looking for the lowest point, which would be this point here. Okay, and we can see price swept.
Okay, let's dive in and have a look at the bot. So this is the current day on the 1 minute time frame that he's talking about. So that was the lowest point there, which you can see here in the video he's highlighted with that. So price swept, we start getting these blue dots up the top here, or aqua dots, and looking for our entry. So let's see what else he says.
And we would be looking for a change of character. Okay, now here are the different various pullbacks. The best one would be this right here, because you can see that it continues to make lower, lower, lower. You could also have said this, technically, this would have been fine as well. Okay, because you can see there's a big extension to the upside. So that's your displacement. ICT likes to talk about that. But basically it broke structure and broke structure here. You can see here there were no significant structural shifts. And the way that I also...
Okay, let's pause it there and have a look back at this test. So what we can see here is that we've got a little arrow signifying when that structure point was broken. Now, I believe in this example here, we didn't quite marry up just because of data differences with what Ethan had. So I believed that we needed to break above this point here, and it closed above, and there was actually no fair value gap, so we didn't really get an attempt at a trade in this example here, and I believe he didn't get one either. So let's have a look.
Basically classify these as that we can only confirm the high.
Yeah, you can see here that was the point that we got the arrow in there, which he I think got it on the confirmation there. So that almost didn't clarify, the bot saw it, but he didn't see it. Let's put it that way.
Once the lows have broken. So once this part here is broken, this is now a high, and this is the high that needs to be broken. Price then pulls back, okay, and then it goes down, breaks, okay, and we continue down.
Yeah, that's what he's talking about with the blue dots that we're showing. So the blue dots here are signifying we've got a high that needs to be broken. Now, they're not exactly in the right spot, but it's just saying, yep, we've got a high that now needs to be broken, at which point it gets broken. And I believe it is that one there, right? So you can see here, that's the high, because we would have broken below a lot. It would have been very tight here. We would have, so this one here broke below that low, at which point, or even, one of these lows broke below there, at which point we go, okay, we now need to break above this high here, which we did ever so slightly with this candle here. It said, great, this is our entry. We got confirmation for an entry. Let's look for a fair value gap, and it couldn't find one. So whereas I think Ethan just missed that in his test. In theory, based on the rules he had, he would have been in at this point here, which I think, he, for whatever reason, just overlooked it because he was doing it or was too tight. But the bot doesn't cheat, right? It doesn't cheat. It always sees these things, right? So, not saying he's cheating, but it was just like, it was probably not obvious enough for him to go, right, well, that was a break of that high there, and he could see there was other highs in there. So anyway,
so this is the point. This is the point that I wanted to be broken. It got broken, and so I will look for the fair value gap, which will be right here. Okay, and a lot of people ask, why don't you go for the fair value gap that is right here? And that's because we want to go for the one that's at the extremity. So the one that's furthest away, that is the one that we go for. So you can add that into the rules. I usually do, but
yeah, so we've got that built into the spot where it's looking for not just the most recent one, but the one that's furthest away, which was kind of difficult to build in.
We go for the fair value gap that's furthest away, and then we hop in, and I like to cover the lows. So personally, I would have my stop loss here, and we would target 1 to 2.
Okay, so this one here doesn't actually go through and take a trade. So what we're going to do is skip forward.
We look at the highest point, which would be this point here in our gray Asian zone. And then we can see that price liquidates that high. And now we're looking for price to shift.
Okay, so it doesn't draw the lower band on there of the zone. So we're just about to hit that period of time. So let's go in and show you what happens. So we get the big spike. That's where the top of it is. That's where the bottom of it is. So we're now looking for that change of structure, which let's have a look at Ethan go through it.
So I would like price to break here, for example, before I start to look for entries. And obviously there must be, and right now it'll be this zone here. And now it'll be this zone here.
Okay, right, so he's at the point now where he's kind of looking at entering. So what we're going to do is slow this down, zoom in a little bit here for you, and hit play. So we're getting those pushes up, and we should see things change. So we're now looking for that blue to be broken. So we've got the blue moving up. So we want that to be broken, and when it gets broken, we should be in a trade here. So it's getting closer. And this is the bot doing its thing. Right, so we now got that one, which I think gets broken. So we break the high there. We break the low. We're now looking for fair value gaps. And that's our signal there, that we're now looking for the furthest fair value gap away, which I believe is this one here. Let's have a look. There it goes. So once that got confirmed, we entered our penny order here and put our stop at the high. We've got no buffer on it. I think he talked about a 1 pip buffer, 2R trade. Let's have a look where he got to on this.
Okay, so price has broken right here, and I will hop in gladly at this point.
So we can see here that it's exactly the same point that we've identified automatically.
Price comes back for me. So we would hop in right here, and I like to give about a pip of breathing room at the top. And we're targeting 1 to 2. The reason I like this as well is because there is a really large imbalance here that will most likely want to get filled as well. So that's quite nice.
Folks, Black Bull Markets have 10 merch packs to give away to clients who sign up before the end of the year, including one of these trader keys. So to go in the draw, all you need to do is sign up with the link below this video or in the podcast description, and you'll go in the draw to win. It's that simple. And remember, folks, when you sign up to Black Bull Markets through the Trading Nut link below, you're going to get a 100% deposit bonus up to $1,000 on your first deposit. All you need to do is click the link in the description below the video or the podcast. Right, so let's have a look, see what happens. So hitting play here. Let's speed this up a little bit. So we get triggered in there, and it goes on to hit its target. We'll speed this up. And then it eventually gets there after a bit of a pullback. Okay, and that's it. So then you're done trading for the day. It doesn't want to take any more trades. And I believe we missed out a bit where Ethan said that he'll keep the order on there until the end of the day and cancel that. So let's have a look at the next one.
Let's see if we get tagged in.
There goes his win. Okay, so this is the next day. Let's double check that. I haven't gone too far forward. Okay, he's into that zone there. So let's have a look at the 11th. Okay, so we've got the zone here that he's marked out. Let's have a look. So that's the zone. He's obviously drawn it a little bit lower than us, but I think that's just the nature of the beast. So we're now waiting for that break of the zone. Let's have a look.
And the lows get swept.
Okay, so he's got that. We aren't quite there yet. I think that's there. So they get swept. We get these lines that we're looking for, that break of structure.
Quite a nice little reaction as well. If price breaks this area, I will get long. Okay, it does not. So now I'd be looking for price to break this area. And now I would be looking at this area. Okay, so it broke. And we've got the fair value gap right here.
Okay, let's see where we get to with this bot. We'll zoom in a bit here and have a look at how it plays out. So I need to slow it down a little bit. Okay, pause. Okay, so yeah, did we get the same fair value gap? So we had that 3 little drives down, 3 drives down. I mean, it's not the exact same candles as TradingView and the feed that he's got there, but it looks like we picked this as exact same point. The bot picked the exact same point, stopped at below the low. Let's have a look if he draws it there.
By the looks of it, we would have already been tagged in. I just clicked forward.
Yeah, so the bot got tagged in where he talked about.
Give it a pip of breathing space, and then we target 1 to 2.
Okay, let's have a look. So he got tagged in same time as us, targeting 1 to 2. I believe because we didn't have the pip of breathing space, we actually got out earlier here than he got out. So putting a buffer of a pip on it is not the end of the world with a bot. So I think he was in the trade for a little bit longer because of that pip. Didn't quite get to the 2R. He did talk about taking partials at 1R or moving stop to break even earlier on in the video. So there you go. There's his 2R. Okay, so he got out there. We got out on the first leg because we didn't have that extra pip of breathing room. So that was that second trade. Let's go. I think there's one more trade. So let's have a look at Ethan's last trade.
So you can see it's the same thing every single time. There's a few little, there's a few things that you need to practice, such as like your change of character points. But eventually you get used to it, and eventually it becomes second nature. And then, but it's very, very much the same thing every single day.
Okay, so let's have a look and see if we got these levels here for this Asia session. Zooming out, we've got the low there where you can't even see it. I think that the high on Ethan's one, but yeah, it was very much the same.
This is now sweeping.
We've got that pull down, and then I think it's actually that is the low there, which is this candle here. So we've got the sweeping happening now,
which would have been that point there in the gray. Now let's see.
Okay, so it pulls back in. Let's zoom out again. Okay, we did get a trade entry there. Let's have a look.
I would be looking for price to sweep. Let's see. This area.
Okay, so I think this is where it differentiates slightly. So where did we get to here? So that was the pullback. So we actually got in here because the rules met. And it was that high being broken here that gave us the little check back for a fair value gap, which was actually here. So that was why the bot got in. We'd had this low. Let's zoom in here so I can show you exactly why we got in. And if something that Ethan missed or something he just it was not this, it was too refined for him to like bother with looking at. So that was the low that got broken at this point here. So as soon as that broke that, that candle broke that, we were looking for a break of the last structure point, which was here. Okay, so that was this last structure point, comes up, that closes above that, which is the break. We go, right, where's the last fair value gap, which was this area here. That was the last fair value gap, and we're going to put our order there, stop at the low, target 2R. So did Ethan get the same? I don't know if I can zoom in on this video, but so let's have a look what the difference was. So he did get a break of that. It comes up, it did break and close above that. So in fact, he could have got in there. Obviously, I mean, he was doing this on the fly, so he missed that one and was looking at the sort of bigger picture, and maybe that's how he trades it normally, whereas the bot was trading it as per the exact rules. So let's have a look.
So price swept. We would be hopping in right here. However,
yeah, so he was going to be hopping in, I think, in this fair value gap there, which was it, that one? Maybe we'll zoom out a little bit so we can see. So this went on to win. I think. Stop pausing. Right, so I think he was looking to get in. Yeah, this fair value gap here, which we'd already been in and out at that point. He obviously missed that because he was doing this pretty quick, and I think I pushed him on to do the last trade.
One thing I need to note, you can see we're getting in very far up this leg of price. So if we drew like a Fibonacci, you would see the 50% isn't really in our favor. So this would be discount price, and we're now hitting in a price that is not discounted. So if you learned anything in terms of if you've gone through ICT's mentorship and those kinds of things, you would have known that it's not an ideal place to get in, but we can get in anyway because that's the rules that we've got set out. I'll cover this because...
Okay, so he got in anyway. I think stop was so stop was there, so he would have got stopped out on that last one. And yeah, as we can see, I showed you that this did actually match the rules of his strategy. And had he been doing it himself, he probably would have seen this as well. So he probably most well would have gotten at that level there. Right, so that's how it all matches up. So we're pretty much matching this piece by piece to the pip. It's kind of very accurate with all these different ICT concepts in here as well. So what we're going to do now is dive in and actually have a look at how I built this thing. Then we'll go through the instructions on how it works and how you can get your hands on it for free. Right, folks, we're going to dive under the hood here and show you how this thing was built in 6 hours, all on live calls as part of my robot lab. Now, this is called FX Dreamer, is what you're seeing here in front of you. So it's a software that allows me to build trading robots really quickly. You've got no coding whatsoever. It's all just drag and drop blocks. So I teach you how to do this stuff in my Robot Builders Club. So if you're looking to get access to that, then keep watching, and there's a few little tricks and treats in here as well in this video. So let's break it down. So the first thing we're going to look at is this range here. So we drew this range, we found the range, the Asian range. How do we do that? So this was basically this area here of blocks. So this was the Asian range. We found it there. We drew those lines using this, draw line block here. Whoops. And then we looked for that break of the range. So this was these blocks here helped us identify that. At which point we knew we were in our kill zone here, so you can see kill zone, and we started looking for the structure breaks, which were here. So this was all already happening, these structure breaks, and then we're looking for that break of the low for the buy trade, so that we could then get in and start looking for the fair value gap. So these blocks here help to find a fair value gap, and if we just open one of them up to show you what sort of stuff's in them, it's just things like this. And I go through all of this in the Robot Builders Club. So when all of that aligns, then we finally get to the point here where we've got a buy now block. As I mentioned, we didn't have that buffer in there, but if you did want to put a 1 pip buffer in there, you just go 1 there, and that's going to give you a 1 pip buffer on that. So that was the entry. The stop loss, we can even do it with a stop loss. How do we do that? Here we go. Stop loss. We'll just go +1 pips, and that's going to give us a 1 pip buffer on that stop loss, which is what Ethan had. We didn't have that built in here when we built it, so I'm just going to leave it out for the time being. Now, this is it. So that's the buy side here at the start, and then the sell side is down here. I've got videos tracking everything within this build, so it's quite amazing that we managed to match it up exactly. But this is very possible. When we do this pretty much every month with these bots, we get a strategy and we match it to the T and then see how it performs. So folks, that's the under the hood look of this bot. Now there is a way to get access to this very code, and I'm going to tell you at the end of the video. But for now, let's dive in and work out how you use the thing. All right, folks, so this is MT5. You're going to get the MT5 bot version of this. So this is how it works, right? So you're going to load it into your MT5. There's instructions on how to do that. It'll be under Expert Advisors here. You go in here, and in fact, you'll probably get the protected version, so stay tuned to find out how to unlock that. But once you do, you can go in here, grab the bot. It'll be called ICT bot. I'm going to drag it on here. So what we'll do is put the default settings I had in with the test, and I think the only changes, this is actually 7 a.m. So this is, we'll go from the start, top to bottom, and we will explain. I'll explain how it works. So you actually have a choice here. Do you want to trade both long and short, long only, or short only? So if you just want to trade longs, you just put 1 in. If you want to trade shorts, you'd put 2. If you want to trade both, you put 0. All right, so that's kind of simple. It does allow you to only take longs or only take shorts based on whatever you've seen in the market, etc. The other thing is entry time frame. So this is set to 1 minute, so that matched up with Ethan's, but you could change that if you wanted to. If you want to do a higher time frame, you could change that and it would work on the higher time frame. Obviously, you don't want to go too high because we are dealing with the session times which we've got here. So this is a daily reset time. This resets everything, and basically it's resetting it after that high spread time. So you could possibly even, if you wanted to, change this to 05, and that will reset at the very start of the day. Now the day range starts, so this is the time that the range starts at 7 a.m. on MetaTrader. Now this does change throughout the course of the calendar year, so you do need to change this yourself based on when the daylight savings times shift, especially around that kill zone time start and end, right? So this is the kill zone end time, and that's basically the range end time and the start of the kill zone time. So these will change during the course of the year based on the daylight savings time changes. So just factor that in. The fractal CID, what on earth does that mean? That is your swing point. So let's just draw on this chart behind me here. So what you're looking at is a swing point here, and that is a fractal candle ID 2, this being candle ID 1, 2, 3. So the fractal candle ID 2 is the highest point in between these two candles. Okay, so that's what we're doing there with 2. Okay, so why is this 4? It's 4 by default. I'm not too sure why we had 4, but it should be 3. So I'll put that in here. So this is matching the settings we've just run. The fair value gap loop candles, what does that mean? So we've got to, at some point here, loop back through. I'm going to move that out of the way. We've got to loop back through and find the fair value gap. So if we did this here, say we're at this point here, loop back through to find a fair value gap. So you could say here that this is probably the first, well, actually, based on the robot rules, this would be the first one up here. In fact, let's call it, no, sorry, let's just say this is the first one up here, right? So that was our first fair value gap. That was our second one here, and this was our third one, which hasn't been touched, and it looks like it's probably the furthest one back from this movement here, right? So this would be the one the robot would be grabbing. Now, how does that reflect based on what I've just gone through with the settings here? So the settings, we're going to go back 20 candles. So that's set to 20, right? So we're going to go back 20 candles to find the fair value gap. Now you could set that to 200 if you want, and it's going to go back a very long period of time to find, or a very large number of candles to find a fair value gap. Now that could be a problem if you do get fair value gaps that are further back and are no longer relevant, i.e. they're not part of this move. So 20 is kind of about all you need. Right. Fair value gap buffer pips. Now, the problem here you can have is there could be very, very small fair value gaps. So ones that are like less than a pip high, which means you have a small chance of it being just a broker difference in there, or it could be quite close to the stop loss, something you might not really want to trade because it's just too small. So in that case, we've just built in a buffer here. So you could say, look, it needs to be at least a 1 pip fair value gap on the 1 minute chart, which means you've got, a fairly chunky candle here that is giving you a pretty obvious fair value gap. Now, there could be issues with that, so you might want to like leave it at 0.5 or something like that. Whatever the pit value is, that's what that fair value gap there is. Now the orders, this is your order management. It's kind of simple. The TPR is how many R you are targeting, so in this case it's 2R, and the risk lots percent is the percentage of your account that you are looking to risk. Okay, so that's that's basically it for the strategy. So that's basically how the bot works. You're going to get this bot for free. Now I'm just about to tell you how you're going to do that. Right, folks, so how do you get your hands on this bot? Well, what you need to do is find the link below the video. It's going to be called tradingnut.com/ICT bot. That will give you all the instructions on what you need to do to get access to this free copy of the bot. Now, there is some extra stuff if you do want to take it even further. You like the idea of building your own bots. You think, well, I want to know how Cam built that. Then here's what you need to do. So just still click that link under the video and then follow the instructions. There is a special offer on for the week of the Black Friday sale. You're going to get my Robot Builders Club. You're also going to get the source code to this bot, which means you can import it into your own version of FX Streamer and play around with it. You're going to get the robot building course, which I teach you how to use Robot Builders Club. And you're also going to get the 6 hours of video footage, which are locked away at seeing how I built this bot from scratch, from literally the strategy idea all the way up to building the whole thing and testing it out. So folks, if you want to get access to that, click that link below the video and get access to the free bot for no cost whatsoever. Click that link. And whilst you're down there, hit subscribe if you're not subscribed. Hit like, smash that like button, and give us a thumbs up, and we'll see you in the next video. Tired of missing trades or spending hours at the charts? Introducing my Robot Builders Club. With our platform, you can build bots in minutes, not weeks, without any coding required. Get lifetime access to my video course, VIP community, and over 40 ready-made robots. Works with MT4 or MT5, and as a bonus, you'll get 3 months access to my robot lab, where we build and test bots on live calls every week. Join the hundreds of traders who are trading smarter, not harder. Click the link in the description to learn more, get the free training, and download a free robot.